On August 8, 2022, large-scale floods hit the capital of South Korea, Seoul, in the Gangnam district and surrounding areas. It was preceded by the highest rainfall in 80 years. 2,800 buildings were damaged and at least 9 people were killed. 163 people in Seoul were left without homes. Several subway stations were flooded, and traffic was suspended on a number of train and subway lines. 80 roads were closed, as well as underground railways. The South Korean president pointed out the need to review the country's disaster management system, since extreme weather is expected to become increasingly common due to the climate crisis. Climate change has led to heavy rainfall and storms, increasing the frequency of floods. The impacts are greatest in urban areas with large populations, density, and complex socio-economic activities. Seoul's population is dense, and its buildings and underground networks are intricately structured. Flooding in cities like this would result in significant losses, costs, and restoration time. Seoul is one of the most highly urbanized cities in Korea and represents an ideal area to study urban flooding. The percentage of impervious areas in the city of Seoul has increased from 40% in 1962 to 48% in 2010. Over 90% of the impervious land cover is impenetrable to rainwater infiltration. Extreme weather conditions lead to increased areas with impervious surfaces, changes with the drainage system, and inland flooding due to a reduced base flow. In addition, several residential areas and industrial facilities are located near the floodplains. Topographical maps of the city demonstrate that the lowest parts are prone to flooding. To prepare for flooding and to improve the water circulation system, 4 facilities must be considered: collective facilities, treatment facilities, storage facilities, and transmission and drainage facilities. Seoul has improved its disaster management, ensuring that its flood disaster policy is maintained and checked every time there was a major flood. The flooding of July 2011 was a turning point in the city's disaster prevention system. The flood damage was caused not only by heavy rainfall that exceeded the designed drainage capacity, but also by surface runoff, insufficient flow capacity of sewage pipes, reduced conveyance, and backwater. Road designs failed to respond to climate change, with ineffective traffic control, and poor management of vulnerable areas, facilities, in addition to poor restoration systems and disaster follow-up. Flood control policies push the city to repair and improve its flood prevention facilities, including river embankments, rainwater pumping stations, and sewage facilities. The existing sewer pipes in Seoul were designed for 10 years usage. To upgrade the capacity lifespan in the vulnerable areas to 30 years, Seoul is working to upgrade the design standards for the sewage and pumping stations while installing rainwater reservoirs and other facilities to reduce the stormwater runoff. The city of Seoul announced it will spend more than $1 billion to build massive underground holding tanks to prevent flooding and vowed to prohibit people from living in basement apartments. They will move some of the city's poorest families out of underground and semi-subterranean homes after 13 people were killed in August, sparking public horror and calls for government accountability. The deaths, which included a family who drowned after becoming trapped underground, have spurred the South Korean capital to put an end to people living in banjiha homes and improve the quality of living. The frequency and intensity of floods in Seoul have called for governmental and city policies to protect its people and infrastructure.